Every night at exactly 12:15, someone rang my doorbell and vanished before I could see who it was. At first, I thought it was just a coincidence. Maybe someone had pressed the wrong bell and walked away. It did not feel like something worth worrying about. I opened the door, looked around the empty street, and then simply went back inside. But when it happened again the next night, at exactly the same time, I began to feel that something was not right. My name is Daniel Harper, and I live alone in a quiet neighborhood where nothing unusual ever happens. The streets are calm, the neighbors are predictable, and most nights pass in complete silence. That is why this strange pattern began to bother me more than I expected. On the third night, I decided to pay attention. I checked the time when the bell rang. It was exactly 12:15 again, not a minute earlier, not a minute later. That was the moment I realized this was not random. Whoever was coming to my house was doing it on purpose. I walked to the door more quickly this time and opened it without hesitation. But once again, the street was completely empty. There were no footsteps, no moving shadows, and no sign that anyone had been there just seconds before. Instead of feeling afraid, I felt something else. Curiosity. Because whoever was doing this was not careless. They were careful, precise, and fast. It felt as if they wanted me to notice the pattern, but not the person behind it. By the fourth night, I could not ignore it anymore. I turned off all the lights in my house and stood near the door a few minutes before 12:15. The silence felt heavier than usual, and I could hear even the smallest sounds around me. My heart was beating a little faster, not from fear, but from anticipation. Then, right on time, the bell rang. Instead of opening the door immediately, I moved slowly toward the window beside it and looked outside. For just a brief second, I saw a shadow moving away from the door. It was the first real proof that someone had been there. I rushed outside, hoping to catch them, but by the time I stepped onto the street, they were already gone. The empty road in front of me felt almost unreal, as if the person had simply disappeared into the night. The next morning, I noticed something I had missed before. Near my front door, on the ground, there was a small piece of paper. I bent down and picked it up. On it, there was only one thing written: 12:15. I stared at it for a long moment, trying to understand what it meant. Was it a message, a warning, or just a way to confirm that this was not a coincidence? That night, I waited again, and once again, at exactly 12:15, the bell rang. This time, I opened the door immediately. There was no one there, but there was another piece of paper. My hands felt slightly cold as I picked it up. This one had a single word written on it: remember. I stood there in the quiet night, holding that small piece of paper, and for the first time I felt something deeper than curiosity. Because that word felt personal. It felt like it was meant for me. But the problem was, I had no idea what I was supposed to remember. By the seventh night, I knew I could not keep ignoring it. I had to find out who was behind this. So I made a decision. Instead of opening the door, I would follow them. A few minutes before 12:15, I stepped outside and hid beside the wall near my front door, making sure I could see the entrance without being noticed. The street was completely silent. There were no cars passing by and no people walking around. The only sound was the wind moving softly through the trees. Then, exactly at 12:15, the bell rang again. From where I was hiding, I finally saw the person clearly for the first time. They were wearing a dark hoodie, and their face was hidden in the shadow. They did not look around or hesitate. They simply pressed the bell once, as if following a routine they had repeated many times before.
Then they turned and began to walk away. For a brief moment I hesitated. I knew I could still walk back into my house and forget everything, but something inside me refused to let it go any longer. So I stepped out quietly and began to follow them. I kept my distance, making sure my footsteps were as silent as possible. The person walked quickly but calmly, as if they were completely sure of where they were going. They turned at the end of the street and moved into a darker lane that led toward the older part of the neighborhood. My heart was beating faster with every step, not just because I was afraid of being seen, but because I could feel that I was getting closer to something important. As I followed them into the narrow lane, I noticed something strange. They never looked back, not even once. It was as if they already knew no one would be following them, and somehow that made everything feel even more unsettling. After a few minutes, they slowed down and stopped in front of an old house at the end of the lane. The house looked abandoned with broken windows and a gate that hung slightly open. I quickly stepped behind a tree and watched carefully. They stood there for a moment, then reached into their pocket and took something out. I leaned forward slightly, trying to see more clearly. It was another piece of paper. They walked up to the gate and carefully placed it on the ground just outside the entrance. Then they stepped back and slowly removed their hood. My breath stopped, because the face I saw was not a stranger. It was someone I recognized, someone I had not seen in years. And in that moment, I realized something that made my chest tighten. This was not just a mystery. This was something from my past, something I had forgotten, or maybe something I had tried very hard to forget.
For a moment, I simply stood there behind the tree, unable to move. The person in front of the old house slowly pulled back the hood, and the dim streetlight revealed their face. My heart tightened instantly because I recognized them. It was a face I had not seen in years. It was Noah. I felt a sudden rush of disbelief, followed by confusion. My mind struggled to connect what I was seeing with what I remembered. Noah was not supposed to be here. In fact, as far as I knew, he was not supposed to be anywhere near this city. He was my younger brother, or at least he used to be. 7 years ago, Noah had left home after a serious argument with our family. At the time, I had been the one who pushed him the hardest. I had told him to grow up, to take responsibility, and to stop running away from his problems. Instead, he had walked out. And after that night, he disappeared from my life completely. No calls, no messages, no explanation. It was as if he had decided to erase himself from our world. And now, suddenly, he was standing just a few meters away from me, leaving strange messages at my door in the middle of the night. I watched him carefully as he stood near the gate of the abandoned house. He looked different, older, thinner, and more tired than I remembered. His movements were slower, and there was something heavy in the way he carried himself, as if life had not been kind to him. He stood there for a few seconds, staring at the house. Then, without saying a word, he turned and began walking away. My first instinct was to call out his name, to stop him, to ask him why he had come back. But something held me back. Instead, I stayed where I was and watched him disappear into the darkness of the street. Only after he was gone did I step forward. My eyes moved toward the small piece of paper he had left near the gate. I walked closer and picked it up. This time, the message was longer. You promised you would come back. My hand tightened around the paper. A memory began to form in my mind, faint at first, but slowly becoming clearer. A promise, a place, and a night that I had tried very hard to forget. I looked up at the abandoned house again, the broken windows, the old gate, the silence around it. Then it hit me. This was not just any house. This was the place where everything had changed.
7 years ago, on the night Noah left home, we had come here after our argument. We had stood outside this same gate, shouting at each other, saying things we could never take back. And before he walked away, he had said something that I never answered. "Just come back here tomorrow night," he had said. "If you still care, you'll show up." I remembered that moment clearly now. But what I remembered even more clearly was what I did next. I never came. I had convinced myself that it did not matter, that he would calm down and return home eventually. I told myself that I did not need to chase after him. But he never came back. And now, after all these years, he had returned. Not to talk, not to meet me directly, but to remind me. The next night, I did not wait inside my house. At 12:10, I was already standing outside, looking down the street, waiting for him. My heart felt heavy with a mixture of regret and anticipation. At exactly 12:15, I saw him again. This time, he did not ring the bell. He simply stood there, as if he knew I would be waiting. For a few seconds, neither of us moved. Then I took a step forward. "Noah?" I said. My voice felt unfamiliar after all these years. He looked at me. For a moment, I saw something in his eyes that I could not fully understand. It was not anger. It was not relief. It was something deeper, something unfinished. "You finally came," he said quietly. Those words hit me harder than I expected. "I'm sorry," I said immediately. "I should have come that night." Noah looked down for a moment, then back at me. "It's not just about that night," he replied. His voice was calm, but there was a weight behind it. "Then why have you been coming here every night?" I asked. "Why the messages? Why not just talk to me?" He hesitated before answering. "Because I needed to know if you would follow me." His answer confused me. "Follow you? Why?" Noah took a slow breath and looked past me, toward the street behind. "Because there's something you need to see," he said. My chest tightened slightly. "What do you mean?" He met my eyes again. "Come with me tomorrow night," he said. "And this time, don't be late." Before I could ask anything else, he turned and walked away. I stood there, watching him disappear once again into the darkness. But this time, the mystery had changed. This was no longer about a stranger at my door. This was about my past. And whatever Noah wanted to show me next, I had a feeling it was going to change everything.